All right. Jesus Christ. I think we need to like wait for people to like join in before we start. All right, it's 5 minutes already, so I think we just need to start because basically this class is being recorded and it will be uploaded. So basically, anybody that miss it, you'll be able to like rewatch. All right, so welcome
Are you
everybody.
recording?
Yeah, it's being recorded. So welcome everybody to like another episode of BackTest for Mide. So basically, on today's episode we'll be talking about or we'll be breaking down XAUUSD basically, right? So as you guys can see on my chart, I'm on the weekly time frame, right? So it's going to be like a top-down analysis, right? So basically from the weekly down to the daily, 4 hour, straight down to like 30 minutes, 15 minutes, right? So I'm going to like break down all of the trades that I got last week, the one that I got last upper week, and basically the next direction of XAUUSD. All right. Basically, I'll be very very fast as possible, so you guys should maybe like pay close attention and all of that. All right. So yeah, let's get into it. So basically, as you guys can see right here on the weekly time frame on XAU, we are very much bullish. So basically, first and first, just like get the directional bias exactly where XAU is going to, right? So you can know where you'll be trading towards. All right. So as you can see this one right now, we are very much bullish. So we expect market to like continue buying, right? So we have this break of retracement under high, little retracement. So now we are creating under high and all of that. So basically, you know in the direction of bias, okay, fine, we are going to buy. So you mark out the previous spot of interest that the market has already mitigated, right? So you'll be able to like know the next one the market will possibly mitigated or the market will possibly mitigate. All right. So here you can see that the market actually like mitigated this fair value gap right here. Right after this little retracement right here, we have a break to the upside, retracement to the fair value gap, and that break to the upside. The market mitigated this weekly demand. Now we are now moving to the upside. So basically, after the mitigation of this demand, you can see we have this bullish reaction right here. So definitely, market is like coming here to like come take out this last high to create a new high. So basically, you know that okay, fine. We are actually like trading to this high. So this is actually where we are like trading towards. So basically, you just need to like go to lower time frames now, or just like follow the current structure, the current trend up to this point right here. All right. So basically, that's like we know where we're going trading to, or we know the directional bias. So the next thing, just like break down the structures that actually will lead the market to that point. All right. So going to daily time frame now, right? So basically on daily time frame, we are able to like see the real thing very well. So we have this one right here to be the fair value gap mitigation after the break, right? And this one right here to be under fair value gap mitigation after the break. This fair value gap right here, right? And after the mitigation of the fair value gap, you can see this was the low, because basically when the market was like coming to this fair value gap, this was the last high that was created for the mitigation. So the market, you can see right now, the market was already taking it out. So basically, there is no way you're going to like turn back right now, right? So we're actually moving back to this point right here. So basically, to confirm that, also like join the trade, because basically you can't say okay, fine, this is like an external change of character, then you now wait for retracement to this low right here before the movement to the upside. There is no way that will happen. So you just need to like follow the current structure, which is this one right here, up onto this point right here. All right, so now let's focus on this current structure and basically where the market is heading to. We know that okay, fine, market is heading to this point right here. So to like follow the current structure to that point, which is this one, right? This is the current structure. So after the medication of the fair value gap, what does the market do? right? What happened up thereafter? I really don't like waste time marking out these breakout structures because I know you guys know that already and all of that. All right, so let's just go straight to the real thing. So moving down to the 4-hour time frame, right? So basically, you guys can see that it keeps getting clearer and clearer. So we actually like refine the fair value gap to this point right here. This might probably be a demand zone in another time frame. I really don't know, right? So basically, after the mitigation of this fair value gap right here, you can see the market starts to give us bullish reactions, right? So this was the last side that was created. Can't you guys see my screen?
We can see your screen.
We can see your screen now. That person probably has a bad network.
It's clear.
Right. Thank you. So before the mitigation of this spot of interest, this was the last time that was like created, right? So we actually like marked that how to be or to give us like an international of character and all of that, right? But basically, I don't know if you guys. I've like talked about this entry, this lower time frame entry confirmation or entry pattern many times in the Telegram channel. Like I even posted a video about it on my YouTube, right? So you guys can just like check it out. So with that, yeah, you should be able to like get an entry from here because basically we have the mitigation. So basically, this retracement is just like a fake retracement. You should be able to like get an entry from this demand. But then we're not talking about that for now, right? So basically, we're just like focusing on the structure and basically how the whole thing happens. So after the mitigation of this hour demand, and for people that like trade breakout blocks, you should be able to like know that there's a breakout at this point right here that that is working with the fair value gap right here. So that this parameters are very high probability of working, and basically it's worked, right? Because that's where the market turned from. All right. So yeah, after that now, after the mitigation of the support of interest right now, we mark this out at the last high that was created before the mitigation. So the market came here to like take it out, right? So let's say for example you haven't gotten that, you didn't got any entry from at this point right here. So market break it out, this like confirms the will buy and all of that. And what do you expect? You expect a retracement after an international of character, which happens right here. So we expect a retracement, then break of structure continuations and all of that, right? So what do we need to do? We need to like mark out the current or the possible point of interest that will likely get mitigated, right? So you can see right here this very clean demand, right, from the 4-hour time frame, right? So this is a very clean demand, and you can see right here this is a fair value gap right here that was not mitigated, right? And at the same time, this is still working with a breaker block. Right? Really, I really don't trade breaker blocks that much though, but it is what it is, right? So this is still like working with a breaker block. So basically, this fair value gap right here has a probability of working. So we mark that out. Don't forget this is actually where we are trading to. So basically, you should see no reason to like maybe like change buyers to sell or just like looking for different things. So any opportunity you see, just like to get another entry into the market up to this high, because basically that's where price is going to. You should join it, right? You would definitely see opportunities like maybe like trade against the trend. You definitely see the market inducing you to trade against the trend, but you shouldn't fall for that because you know where the market is heading to and you actually know what you're looking out for in the market, right? So that's why looking out for directional bias is just very very good at first, right? So you know exactly what you're looking out for, and you won't be able to like fall for like inducements and all of that. All right. So after this general of character, this confirms the will buy, right? So I see no reason to like be trading for sales right now. I see no reason to just take sales and all of that. This confirms the will buy. So any opportunity I see, just like get a new entry for the buys. That's if I've not entered, or basically I want to like get a re-entry and all of that. All right. So mark out these two point of interest like this fair value gap right here, and this demand zone right here. So that's like the two possible point of interest that the market will likely use to continue the buy after this retracement. All right. And if you guys check on XAUUSD very well, when the market is like retracing, right, it use what's it called? It is trend liquidity a lot, right? If you guys study XAUUSD very well, you use trend liquidity a lot. If the market is trying to like retrace and all of that, right? Use trend liquidity a lot. So basically, trend liquidity is just like a form of liquidity target, right? So trend liquidity just like builds up to the point of interest where the market wants to move, and then the market after the mitigation of that point of interest, the market tends to like sweep out all of this trend liquidity that was like created during the retracement, right? So it's more of like a liquidity target, right? And basically, whenever you see the market retracing in terms of like trend liquidity to a point of interest that is working with the overall direction of the market, you should know that that has a high probability of working out, or that particular trade or setup have a high probability of working out. All right. So basically, as I was saying, let's just continue. After this change of character, I'll mark out this possible pot of interest. Right. So what do we need to do? I think I like caught a buy from here, but I was like targeting this external high right here, of which that doesn't work out. So just like work out right here, play that way a bit, then take me out and break even. Right. So basically, and this was like the mitigation of the spot of interest. Jesus Christ, who be this one again? Who's that? All right. So now let's just focus on the current thing, right? So basically, we have these two pot of interest. So mark it out, and we wait for the market to mitigate it and see its reaction, right? So after that, now go to like the 3 hour time frame. I think there is nothing really in 3 hour most times, right? So we need to like go to the 2H. So getting to the 2H right now, I can see that before the mitigation of this spot of interest, market is like trying to like create somewhat of like a trial liquidity right here, right? It's not really much for it to be very very equal to each other, right? That's not necessary. So after the mitigation of the fair value gap, right here, we see that this was the last item market created internally, right? And this was last item market created externally. So this should confirm the buy. That's if you don't want to like take an aggressive entry from the fair value gap, which is this one right here, right? Mind you, this is working with a breakout block, right? That was working with the breakout blocks, like it's like working with a breakout block and all of that. So after the mitigation of the fair value gap right here, these are like very very huge. There is no way you want to like take an aggressive entry from this spot of interest, right? That's very big. So basically, after the mitigation, just need to like wait for confirmations and all of that, right? So the market is like working or like creating a trend liquidity when it was on its way to mitigate the spot of interest, and after that, after the mitigation, you can see that we like have a breakout of it. We have a breakout. You can see right here, market move above the trend liquidity, right? So basically, in this case, retail traders might like looking out for like buys immediately after the retracement, immediately after the breakout, and basically like a retracement back to the trend line, looking for buyers right here. But basically, we do it differently, right? And what actually happened there is after this international frequency, market take out this eye right here to be an international character, though it doesn't close above it. And you should mind you, a candle break or candle close above in terms of structures depends on time frames, right? So there's that probability, or there are some time frames, or so basically let me say some scenarios where the market will like close above a candle, like close above a candle with a candle body, normal candle body, in maybe like minutes. I'm talking about 45 minutes, 30 minutes, all of those things. And it won't close above it in hours, like 3 hours, 4 hours, and 2 hours, all of those things, right? So it depends on the structure, it depends on the time frame you're working with, right? And mind you, this one exactly works. Basically, it is like a value break of structure, because if you go to like the 45 minutes, 30 minutes, it will close above it. And this is the current structure we are trading, right? So after the break of structure right here, or basically after the international of character, which confirms the mitigation or the validation of this pot of interest right here, we expect market to like retrace to the positive pot of interest before the will move to the upside and all of that, right? So basically, marking that out now, we have two pot of interest, right? We have this demand, we have this and that demand zone right here. But in this case, this demand zone right here, the one above doesn't have an inducement, doesn't have anything, right? And this one right here, it does have an inducement, because we can use the low of this or this demand zone as the inducement of this one, right? Mind you, there is an internal maybe marginal liquidity inside of the during mitigation inside of this one, which is like this one right here. You can see the created this low right here, we trace to the upside, then later come back to like take it out, right? Which is like an marginal liquidity during mitigation. I think I've talked about that sometime, right? So now let's go to lower time frame to like see exactly what the market does after the mitigation of that. So heading to the 1 hour time frame right now, you can see that this demand zone, it's not valid in the 1 hour, right? And basically, this one is already mitigated by this low in the 1 hour. So that means you really don't want to get yourself confused. Just need to like go to another time frame, maybe like 45, there about 45 minutes. Still nothing right here, right? So don't try like force things or like force movement or maybe like force spot of interest and all of that. Just work with exactly what the market created for you, right? So heading to the 30 right here. I really don't think I caught any trade from here though. I really don't think so. But I'm just trying to like break down the whole movement and all of that. So heading to the 30 minutes time frame right here, you can see that this demand zone, it's not really valid still, right? And basically we have a very clean demand zone right here, and you can see this demand zone right here like created or maybe like mitigated the fair value gap right here. All right, so you can see we had a sweep of a low right here. So after the sweep, basically you can see after the sweep right here, you have a break of structure, mitigation to the fair value gap, and that break of structure, right? This doesn't mitigate anything, right? And it doesn't mitigate this demand. So this demand was left unmitigated. So basically that will serve as an inducement for the next mitigation, right? So basically before we have the external break, which like tends to be the internal change of character to confirm the overall bias. And if you can see right here too, we have something like a trend liquidity still, right? So you can see how the bias is now like making sense with each other and all of that. So basically we're going to like use this low right here as an inducement. This low will be an inducement while we like take an entry from this demand, and basically this was last mitigation. So our protected low should be this point right here. I'm talking about the stops at this point, right? I'm talking about the stop loss, right? So you get the entry from here. Stop will be here. That's like 90 pips right there. And then you might probably be targeting the last high, which is this one, or the external high, which is exactly where we are trading to. That will be like a swing, right? But basically for me, like a trader, mostly I target the internal highs, right? And basically I close maybe like 60 to 70% of my positions, and then just hold the little percent to the external or the overall highs, which is this one right here, right? So basically that's that for that. We have a break of structure right here. So after the whole thing, we have another break of structure. So that should tell us that okay, fine. After this break of structure, there's still a probability that the market is still going to like make a retracement before the buy continuation, right? Because in this case now we are now creating something like a trend, right? We are creating something like a trend because you can see right here, you can see break right here, retracement, another break right here. So basically, a probability the market will like create another retracement, then another break, another retracement. So that's actually how the market will like follow the bullish structure up until we get to this point right here, which is like the overall point we expect the price to get to, right? So after you have this break of structure right here, right? After you have the break of structure right there, following the internal structure, right? Market mitigated the fair value gap right here, 30-minute fair value gap right there. I can remember this, and I dropped it to the Telegram channel, right? Mitigated the fair value gap right here, give us something like an internal change of character, which is this one right here. And even before that, you reacted from the supply zone, right? Reacted from the supply zone, later broke it through, right? So that confirms the sales, that confirms the buys rather, and the market later like make a retracement after it swept up. I remembered I was like looking for a buy at this point, but I got stopped out, right? Because market has a trend liquidity right here to come grab. So after the market grab a trend liquidity right here, market move back to the upside, right? I could have gotten a buy continuation from here though, but I missed on that, right? So market came here like to make a new break of structure. Mind you, this is like a minor break of structure, right? This is what a minor break of structure, right? Because market doesn't get to the 50% of the real trend. I'm talking about this one right here. Of the real trend, right? Market doesn't get to the 50%. So this should be a minor break of structure, like internal break of structure. Internal break of structure in the sense of this internal structure right here. Do you get? Alright. So after we have that, market take out this low right here. Take out this low right here to come to get a well priced spot of interest, right? Mind you, the market actually reacted from maybe like a pot of interest right here that I really don't know shit about, right? Market reacted from there, and basically the reason why the market is reacted from there just like induce more bias into the whole thing, right? Because they might think, okay, we have a break of structure right here, retracement, another break of structure. So basically, market needs to get something right here, so they are expecting another break of structure to the upside, right? And if the market, or basically, if XA want to do crazy shit like this, you will know, right? Because if you have experience trading XA, you know that it creates trend liquidity a lot. And whenever I create that trend liquidity, something crazy is about to happen, right? So when it's created that, and I think this was like NFP, I remember that NFP, that was like last week, right? I know very well that this buy is not going to continue, and basically the market trying to like expect something right here, just like an opportunity to like get into the sales, right? And I know that after this because structure right here, right? After the because structure right here, the market like on a normal day, right? We have a sweep right here, we have a sweep right here, and then we have this very clean demand zone right here. So we have an internal range of internal liquidity right here. So the market was supposed to like mitigate this demand zone and never move below this low if it was really interested in that bias, right? Because this was tends to be the protected low. This was a low that sweep liquidity, right? Market was supposed to never move below that low. right? Market was supposed to like move below this low. So basically, market take it out, even though it doesn't close above it. I mean, it takes it out. So that says a lot already. So after it takes it out, it now starts to like create a very weird market reaction. Maybe like very weird market movements, like another trend liquidity again, right? So that should tell us that definitely the market is trying to like coming back here to like take out all of those lows. So any opportunity to like get into, I mean, the real movement of this thing just like get to like mitigate something before the real movement starts. And if you go back to the 2 hour time frame, you see that we have a fair value gap above that, or at that point, right? Which is this one. Okay, I think it's the theory. Is it? The charts are always very different. I think I saw this one on these charts right here. Wanda. Okay, here is it. So I saw these demands and this supplies rather from the 4 hour time frame, and there is no way I'm going to like drain from this very big pot of interest. So I need to like refine it to the lower time frame. So me heading to the 2 hour, I see that there's a fair value gap. I'm sorry, there is a fair value gap right here, which is this one, right? This is very small fair value gap, and as you can see, there is nothing valuable to be mitigated again. So I know that okay, fine, the market is going to like mitigate this thing. So after the market mitigated this, I actually like add an aggressive entry right here at this point, and then wait for confirmation to like get a re-entry, right? So basically, that confirmation was an internal change of character still, because if you go to like 30 minutes time frame, you see that market like take out an internal structure before the real thing started, right? What I mean by that is the market like created some crazy reactions like this, right? Mitigated the spot of interest right here. Take out this low, which was the last spot of interest. I'm sorry, the last low that was created before the mitigation. Took it out. That give us like an internal change of character. Mitigated this level gap right here. I couldn't get an entry from this level gap price. I think I was not on the chart. So the market like give a little reaction to the downside. Doesn't break this low still, right? But market still come back here to like mitigate this supply action. So this is exactly where I got my entry from. You might be wondering why did I got an entry from this supply zone without a breakup structure? I have personal reasons for that, right? So I got the supply zone for me to like get a re-entry, and I was like targeting the next spot of interest, right? Okay. I think it's on. This point of interest like shows very well, or shows better on this particular chart right here. So I think I'm going to like go back to Ethereum. So I took the sell up from all of this point, up from this point right here down to the next spot of interest. Though I was actually like targeting maybe like the next spot of interest like somewhere around here. Maybe use this one as an inducement or somewhere around this low right here. Why? Because we have something like a trend liquidity right at that point, and basically the market might just trying to like take it out still. Crazy things can happen, but I actually like mark it out because the market might just like try to like expect a spot of interest right here. Use this one as an inducement right at this point, right? And basically this low was my protected low, and there is no way I'll just like jump on buys immediately after mitigation. I need confirmations, right? Because one, the zone is too big, and two, what's it called? This is not the only point of interest right here. So market might just try to like disrespect this one, then just come mitigate anyone below. So I need to like get confirmed entry at that point. So after that, after the mitigation of this, right? And mind you, I've not really like exit almost all of, though I like close almost all of the positions, right? But I've not exit everything because everything can't still happen, and I really want to be there if that does happen, right? So I close like around 60-70% of my positions, and then I'm holding the rest. So I will only close if I get a bullish confirmation from this current stroke of this current from this current pot of interest, right? So if I do get a confirmation from here, I'll like close this buys, close the sales, and then like look for buys like join in the whole trend for the continuation. Mind you, this was the last time that was created. We expect markets like come take it out, following what? This structure right here. Following this structure right here. They get expect retracement again, like come back to this structure. Okay. So after the mention of this level like of this demand zone right here, what does the market do? We go to like the 1 hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, thereabout, just like before an internal market change and all of that. So after the execution right here, just like a 1 hour demand. You can see right here it had a sweep below, which is like at this point right here, the sweep right there. I'll use this one as an inducement. So after the execution of the pot of interest, the market what? Jesus Christ. The market's like take out this eye right here first, and then take out this one, which confirms the whole bias because it's an international of character. Because we can look at the structure very well. This is actually what happened. A move below, retracement, another move, little retracement, then another move, little retracement, then the mitigation right here. Alright. So that's actually what happens. So the reason why I didn't call this an international refractor is why, because there is a port of interest above this one right here. So the market might just want to like expect this port of interest right here and then use this one as an inducement for this port of interest. So there's a probability where we can just like see the market taking out this inducement, mitigate the supplies, and then see sell. Right. So that is not a valid high to like be called or to like, to confirm an international refractor and all of that. So after the market move below the supply zone, market give a little retracement, then later move above what? Above the supply zone or above this low rise to like confirm the whole buys. Right. So basically that confirms the buy for me. And at this point right here, I've already like closed some of these positions. Don't know everything because I think I still hold to like this point right here where I am like interested in the buys. And if you guys go to the Telegram channel, you see that I actually like caught a buy from here. Right. So what was the reason behind that sales? Sorry, I caught a sell from there. What was the reason behind that sales? If you go to like the 2-hour time frame, you have a very clean fair value gap at that point. Which is this one right here, this viral thing right here that actually got me to get that. Right. So basically I've already like I've already seen my confirmation on international character from lower time frame. So I know that the market will likely retrace to mitigate the next or the newly created port of interest before the buy continuation. Right. So going to like the 30, like confirm the sales. 30 minutes time frame right here. So after the mitigation of the fair value gap right here from the hour time frame, after the mitigation of the fair value gap, right? So I see like a little lower time confirmation right here, right? That actually like make me enter the sales. So I got into the sales like somewhere around this point right here. My stop was above. I think I was like risking around 25 to 30 pips, if I can remember very well. And then the next port of interest was this one because this was the only demand zone that we have right here. And then we use this one right here to be, my bad. We use this one right here to be the inducement because it's like an internal liquidity right here. So we use this one right here to be the inducement, right? So after the market, I like go into the sell to this point right here, and after the market mitigate this spot of interest right here, I told you guys on the charts or in the Telegram that okay, basically we might be looking for buy confirmations right here, and this happens around like I think it's like midnight, around 2-3. And at that point, I was very tired. I had to like I need to go to bed. Dude, I was actually like waiting for confirmation, but right on my screen because like, I think it was on my tab and I was just like laying down on the bed. I was like fell asleep there, right? So I couldn't like get any confirmation or like get any entry from here. So like me waking up on the next morning, I see that something like this has happened. So the market mitigate this demand zone right here, break the structure right here. So that gives us another extra confirmation for the buys, and the markets are expecting this spot of interest. So that means we have an internal change of character, retracement to the demand zone that was like created during that internal change or during that change of character, then a break of structure. So this gives us a change of character and a break of structure. That's like double confirmation for the buys. So I really don't want to miss on these buys at this point. So that's like gets to lower time frames, like mark out possible port of interest, right? So marking out possible port of interest, I see two port of interest actually, like two fair value gaps. So here in the 1 hour, I see this fair value gap right here, and there is another one at this point, right? So first, after the investigation of the fair value gap, I think I need to like go to 15 so you guys can see exactly what happened. After the investigation of the fair value gap, the one on the what's it called, the 4 hour time frame, that's like refining it out to these points right here. So after the investigation, we see something like a sweep, right? See something like a sweep right here, and internal change of character right here, right? So that was like confirmation for me. I was like jump on the buys at this point right here, this new demand, right? So me jumping on the buys at that point actually got stopped out, right? Market like expected or reacted from the point of interest a little bit. Then we have a spike to the downside, which actually took me out. And then my next problem is this one. I was like waiting for confirmation that I never see, right? So I missed on this buy right here because I was waiting for confirmation, and then I got taken out right here. I really don't know what happened. XAU is just like it's just like very crazy sometimes, and basically it's like the only loss I had last week, right? So and I was like targeting this high right here to be my first TP, and this external high as my second TP. So I got stopped out at that point. So the second part of this way I was like looking for confirmation from, I didn't get any. So the market just like spiked it, like break structure. So at this point, for the fact that XA is just trying to like react, giving us a break of structure retracement, in this point is very very rare, right? is very, very rare. Most times, XAU just like mitigate point of interest, give maybe like one confirmation. Even sometimes where it won't even give confirmation at all, just like continue to its normal direction. It won't even retrace, right? So for the fact that we have a lot of retracement last week is like very good opportunity to like stacking as plenty ranges as possible. So after the reconstruction right here, I was not even really expecting retracement anymore, but I was lucky I got one. So the retracement was like, I'm sorry, what actually happened here is after a reconstruction right here, you can see that we have this sweep right here, right? So this low was tends to be my protected low, right? Then I need to like look for part of those at the lower time frame, maybe like any time frame where I see one actually, because I couldn't see anyone right here. So I see that maybe like this might just be like an inducement, maybe like an internal range liquidity. That's not an inducement, an internal range. So I couldn't see any part of interest at the higher time frames until I go to the 5, right? So me moving to the 5 minutes right here, I see this very clean demand zone sitting there pretty alone, and then I use this one right here as an inducement, right? Basically, I really don't like using highs or points like this as inducement, right? Because it's very, very little bit far from the pot of interest. Why should I use it anyway? Because this is the only pot of interest that was around, so I really don't have any options. Because if I do have options, I might probably look take it back from here, just take from the other pot of interest that have an inducement around it or very close to it. So that was why I took a buy from here after the investigation. I can remember I was on my way to church on Wednesday evening when I took a buy from here. Now I was looking around 70 pips. I was looking around 70, 75 thereabout. So I target this eye at first, and then my overall TP was at this point. So basically, this goes straight into profit, right? I think it's 30 minutes time frame. This goes straight into profit. Basically, after mitigation, we have a break of structure again of this structure right here. And after that, you have another retracement right here. I was even expecting this one to like come mitigate this 30 minutes fair value gap, but it doesn't mitigate it. And I'm very, very sure this was maybe like market just save this spot of just for later. It's definitely still coming back there, right? So it doesn't mitigate it right there. Then just continues like break structures and all of that up until it gets to like ETP. I think it was on Friday, thereabout. So right after that, after the mitigation of that, or after the TP of that, close like around 60-70% of this pull buy entry right here, because I know that we might not get a retracement again, right? And basically market is like very near to the external high, so market might just not retrace again. But if it does retrace, we are going to like harden more positions and then still targeting this external high right here. What I'm talking about, basically the retracement I'm talking about is like something like this, retracement like this, because we have another go structure right here, and then boom to the upside. I mean something like this, right? I can see market has been creating retracements after each week of structures, right? Something like this up to this high, right? So I'm still holding very little of my positions from these buys right here, right? And basically we have a whole lot of shit that happened yesterday evening, like the Israel and these guys fighting each other. So you guys shouldn't be surprised if you see XAUUSD jumping to 4,000 on Sunday evening after market open. So yeah, that's pretty much that about that. So I took 3 trades last week. So easily 2-1 right here, which is like a win. That's like 1 to 10. The second one, it's my stops. I got the direction right, but my entry was very bad. It's not like it's very bad. It was just the market doing its thing, right? Because I see a change of character and all of that. But then market just fails to expect it. So I missed that one, which is like minus 1 to 1. And basically it's like another 1 to 10 risk reward. It's like 19 risk reward last week. If I was like minus the losses from there. So that's that about that. And then at this point, I'm still like expecting retracements, which will likely not happen. But if it does happen, we are still going to like jump on the buys. And my next problem just will be this fair value gap right here, with this low right here as an inducement. So if that happens, I'll be like looking to like confirm or basically just like jump onto the buys and then target this external high at this point. And if the market doesn't retrace and the market just like after market just jump to this TP, I'm still going to like be on the buy because I'm still doing a lot of buys at this low right here. So that's pretty much it, and that's pretty much XAE for now. And the direction of XAE that what I'm like looking out for next is I'm really not looking out for anything because I really don't think market will just like to like retrace again, right? I really don't think market will retrace again. Market is like very near to the external high to like the overall point already, so the market will likely just take it out. But if it does retrace, this is my next bit of interest. And I really hope you guys can see that and then just look out for market reaction at that point and then go long. That's if market retrace to that point. So going back to the daily time frame, if the market now break this structure, what do you expect next? Right? If the market break this structure right here, the market break this structure right here, break this one right here, break this eye right here, we expect market to like give another retracement again for the bullish continuation, right? XAU virus is bullish, so there's no way you should be looking out for long time bearish structure, right? So if you want to like look for sales, just like short term, like the one I caught right here, just short term sales, to bullish spot of interest and all of that. So that's pretty much it on XAU, and I really hope you guys learned something. So I think I'll just like take in questions now if you have any. Ask questions if you have any. Um, Anyone with any questions? All right. So no one is asking any questions, so I really think there's no questions. That might probably be the end of this call. Then I'll see you guys next time. Peace.